What is the need for psychology in a country like India?
The need for psychology in India. The why psychology is the need of the. If you go back to the report released by the Indian Council of Medical Research, their report indicates that in 2017, nearly 197 million people in India they experienced or suffered from some kind of mental health problem, and 46 million individuals were diagnosed with some depressive disorder, and 45 million individuals were diagnosed with some anxiety disorder. And I'm sure after the COVID-19 pandemic began, the numbers would have gone up even more. But to deal with the increasing mental health burden, we do not have enough trained mental health professionals in India. So the supply of trained mental health professionals is far less compared to the demand for them in the contemporary scenario. Again, another problem is that because we do not have a proper regulatory body in India, like for example in US they have American Psychological Association, which regulates the practice of psychology in terms of what can be done, what cannot be done, who can call themselves a psychologist, who cannot. In India, we do not have any regulatory body. So there are people who just do a 2 day certificate course in counseling and they start calling themselves as psychologists. So I know a friend of mine whose grandfather did a 2 day certificate course in hypnosis and then started calling himself as a counselor. So there is a widespread quackery in this domain, especially in India, in the absence of any regulatory body. And again, what happens in India is when people do go through problems, very often instead of consulting a psychologist, they would rather consult an astrologer or a crystal healer or maybe a tarot card reader or any such professional, so to say, quote unquote, who practices these pseudoscientific techniques. So, in a situation like this, psychology becomes extremely, extremely important.